Hello everybody, here we are today doing a series review of the Western Conference Final between the Dallas Stars and the Vegas Golden Knights. Before we start, please make sure to subscribe if you're new. If not, no big deal. Now let's get started. The series kicks off with a Jason Robertson goal to give Dallas a 1-0 lead. William Karlsson would respond with 2 goals for Vegas, one being midway through the second, another one being early in the third, as they go from being down 1-0 to being up 2-1. Roope Hintz does score a goal for the Stars here, as it is 2-2. Again, things tied up. Teddy Blueger does end up scoring not too long after that to make it 3-2 for Vegas, and in the dying minutes of the third, Dallas needed a goal late, and who else but Jamie Benn, their captain, who would be a focal point of this series, for better or worse. He scores the equalizer as the Stars end up getting things into overtime. Unfortunately for the Stars, they may have forced overtime, but they lost in extra time, as that was thanks to Brett Howden, who scores the OT game winner as Vegas takes a 1-0 series lead. Game 2 in Sin City, this one again kicks off with Dallas grabbing an early lead thanks to Miro Heiskanen, but Mark Stone scored on the power play not too long after that. About 7 minutes later, to tie things up, Jason Robertson gets another goal yet again for a second straight game, and this one is looking good for the Stars as they have the advantage in the second, and it looks like late in this game the Stars are going to get one on the road here. Not exactly, as Jonathan Marchessault scores a goal late in this one thanks to Dallas not being able to clear the puck, and with about 2.5 minutes to go, they score the equalizer. And then you see not too much later, 72 seconds later in overtime, at the start of overtime, you saw Chandler Stevenson score the game winner as the Golden Knights go and snatch a victory out of the jaws of defeat, and they take a commanding 2-0 series lead. Game 3 in Dallas, the first game of the series in the state of Texas, and it is Jonathan Marchessault yet again who plays a factor in the series, scoring 71 seconds into this one. Not too much longer after that, things really unravel for the Stars as Jamie Benn decides to lay a cross check on an already fallen down Mark Stone. He ends up getting a game misconduct, ends up getting a 2-game suspension after this. Vegas then go on there to score 2 more goals, one of those being on the power play. Ottinger, I believe, is pulled after the second goal as he allows 2 goals on 3 shots. Then the Golden Knights get a third in the first. It's actually within like the first 7.5 minutes of the game. So at this point, it really does feel like it's a game that's already lost. Alex Pietrangelo does pile on to make it a safe lead for Vegas as they make it 4-0 in the second. And at the end, that is the final from this game as Adin Hill secures the shutout, and the Stars really lost that game probably within the first minute and a half, 2 minutes there. Kind of thanks to Jamie Benn as they are down 3-0, and Game 4 could be the elimination game in this series. Game 4, William Karlsson making Dallas fans feel on edge early here as he gets the early lead for the Golden Knights, and then Jason Robertson, thankfully for Stars fans, ends up getting a goal on the power play in the first as well, so it is 1-1 after 20. Marchessault strikes yet again in the series, and that's about halfway through the second, but again, it's Jason Robertson, the hero of Dallas, who responds not too long after to make it 2-2 after 40. No goals in the third, which means we get overtime here, and that is where the Vegas Golden Knights, hoping to end the series, feel heartbreak as Joe Pavelski scores on the man advantage to make this one at least go back to Sin City for a 5th game as Dallas lives to see another day. And then Barbashev gets the Sin City crowd up and going with a goal early on to take a 1-0 lead in this pivotal Game 5. But it's Glendening that bags one for DeBoer and co. as it is tied up 1-1. Chandler Stevenson says, "No, I don't like that. I'm going to score a goal," and so he scores a goal to regain the lead for Vegas. Jason Robertson said, "No, Chandler Stevenson, I don't like that either. We're going to tie things up here." So it stays at 2-2 after 40 minutes of play. Halfway through the third, it does look like Vegas is probably going to go on to win this one in Game 5. But that is when the man, the myth, the legend, Ty Dellandrea, who had scored, I believe, 8 or 9 goals in a full 82-game season, decides he's going to score not 1, but 2 goals in about a 2-minute span midway through the third, as the Stars go on to win this one 4-2 and push this series into Dallas with the hopes of making it back to Vegas for Game 7. In Game 6, this is where things get really disappointing if you're a fan of just hockey in general, or if you're a Dallas Stars fan, as Karius scores a goal early on. Karlsson then piles it on with a power play goal, and then Kolesar adds another one. It is 3-0 at the end of the first period. It really feels like an insurmountable hill for the Dallas Stars to try to climb above. And then Marchessault makes it 4-0 in the second. Carlson piles it on in the third, and Amadio scores the final goal here. In this game, I'm really not going to talk too much about Game 6 because it was a blowout 6-0 for Vegas as they end up going on to the Stanley Cup Final with this win, and for the Stars, they lose. As for Dallas, they end up playing a really good series at points here and having a really good year just in general, but you look back at some things and think, you know, they struggled in overtime in the playoffs. They really had some opportunities here. Game 2, they should have won. Game 3, I think, is where they really lost the series, you know, kind of thanks to Jamie Benn. I'm not going to say that it was for sure, but when you're in that situation, they just got in a hole early in Game 3, and that was unfortunate. And then in this game, you know, you hate to get blown out in a game here of this magnitude, but Dallas is still a club that showed that they were a good team during the regular season and was able to find postseason success yet again. As for Vegas, clearly they were the better team as they end up winning this one in 6 games. You know, they had some things go their way, but in general, they were a team that was really able to outplay the Stars and show that they were, you know, the 1 seed in the regular season for a reason. I myself have bet against them the past 2 rounds, and here they are now going to the Stanley Cup Final for the first time since 2018, the second time overall in franchise history, as they end up beating great teams in the Western Conference, and now they look to win their first Stanley Cup Final, or first Stanley Cup title in franchise history against the Florida Panthers. It's going to be a really interesting series there, as the Knights are clearly the team that had the better regular season, but the Panthers really don't seem to mind taking down the favorites in each series. So we're going to see how that goes. But what were your thoughts on this series between Dallas and Vegas? I'd love to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. Also, please make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Everybody stay safe. Have a great night. And you go have hockey all right.
Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.